Welcome to Germany vs. USA, and today we're going to talk about German stereotypes.
Stereotype number 1. Die deutsche Sprache ist harsch und unromantisch.
Very harsh and very unromantic.
What are you talking about? I guess that's kind of true if you are...
Kind of, it's very true. That's a very true stereotype.
Yeah, I guess sometimes when I hear Americans imitating the German language, it sounds to me like Russian a little bit. Where I guess like it's very harsh, very abrupt, very explicit in the way it is pronounced, very fast also, right?
Well, the thing about German, when you hear German, especially on TV or movies, or because Germans are always the bad guys in movies, let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always very hard, and it's very Southern. Like
Southern German?
Yeah, so it's like Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, when I lived in Germany, I was in South Germany for almost a year.
Schwaben, yeah.
Yeah, so I dealt with like the Schwäbisch and like the Munich, so like basically with the Bayern, Bavaria, like down in that region. And then when I started traveling up north, very different, kind of like in the United States, but the accents and the dialects are very different. You don't hear the northern dialects on TV or in movies.
Right.
It's faster. It's not as pronunciated. Like people don't pronounce things as like clear.
Cut things off a little
They
more.
cut things off a little more. It's quicker, and it's a big adjustment if you're like a new language learner going from the south to north because it's so much faster. So, however, stereotype is very true. Germans only wear Lederhosen.
And Dirndl. That is a false stereotype. That is really only valid for the southern region again, so it's very regional. Yes, in general, we can say that the stereotype of Germans mostly comes from the southern parts of Germany, Bavaria.
Yeah, from Bavaria, yeah.
Right, so people in southern Germany and Bavaria, they will wear Lederhosen, and they will mostly wear it for like occasions, but they will also sometimes just wear it for the fun of it. Whereas if you go to the north, east, or west of Germany, you won't see people wearing Lederhosen except around September, October when the Oktoberfest is happening for certain occasions.
Yeah, and Lederhosen's expensive. So it's not cheap to buy when you do see realistic, like authentic Lederhosen. Very pricey. I think there's a neat thing how like a lot of from Bavaria, it's like that's how people picture Germany. It's kind of here in the United States with Texas. Like the cowboy, the loud, the super conservative. It's similar in that sense where a lot of these stereotypes can't carry true.
Germans are Nazis. A stereotype that I am confronted with, or I have been confronted with very often, or people ask, are there still many Nazis in Germany? And I guess the short answer is no.
Right, very much so a stereotype. And I'd say...
I don't know where it comes from, though.
Well, the thing with it is the Germans have done an excellent job of admitting their past and moving forward. And so Germany does a great job of talking about, the Second World War and having all those museums. And that's why the stereotype is there. But overall, it's very, very untrue. Germany's way past their, kind of scorned past.
Right. Even though there are of course still very, very few Nazis in Germany. There's a nationalistic party, the NPD, and they got like 1-point-something% on the federal election. So you will find Nazis, but it's the vast majority is anti-Nazi, and so
every country has a few bad apples. Germans love their cars.
I think that is true. Germany has amazing car companies: Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, VW, Audi. And there are a lot of Germans who really are crazy about their cars. They will clean them every other day. They will not allow anyone to eat in there. But then on the other hand, I think, me for instance, I'm happy that I don't need a car because I live in a city in Hamburg where there's public transportation. I can ride my bike everywhere. And if I want to go somewhere else in Germany, I just take the train. So I'm really happy I don't need a car because in big cities, it's really a hassle. You can't find a parking spot or anything. So,
the stereotype's definitely true. Germans are very passionate about their cars. But also just transit in general, Germans are excellent at it. So the public transportation, the national train system, then you have the big boys like BMW, Mercedes. Excellent quality. So yeah, true stereotype, but not a bad one.
Also the Autobahn, and the Autobahn is famous for having no speed limits.
Biggest lie in Germany. There are speed limits There's everywhere. There's speed limits, and you have the little camera guys that, like, when you're driving on the Autobahn, if you're doing something illegal, look out for the flashers. If you cover your face, you can't get a ticket.
It's very true. Well, but it's true. Actually, the majority of German Autobahns probably has speed limits. If you want to have Autobahns that are really well, they're not a lot of cars, and you will have to go to East Germany. There's a lot of Autobahns in East Germany that are no speed limit, and they're really good too.
What the West taxes will buy.
Germans are rude, boring, never laugh, and don't smile.
I'm going to say this stereotype has a lot of truth in it. And it's because the small talk is so different in two countries. Germans, they're not going to put up with small talk. And it's different, where they come across a little cold. But it's like coming up to a stray dog. You know, like, you just have to warm up. He has to begin to trust you. And then once that happens, you know, they'll open up and they'll relax. But it is very different. And sometimes because it's so different culturally, they come across rude. And they're very honest, so they misunderstand small talk sometimes. So,
right.
How are you doing? If you ask that question, you're going to get an answer. You know?
My dog died yesterday.
Yeah, my dog just passed away. And you're like, oh, well, here we go.
Here's an awkward conversation.
Right.
It's true. Germans will be very direct, actually, in what they think. And also, I think Germans are, I guess, purpose-driven. When they have a conversation, they want to have a point about that. Whereas in the US, you would just have small talk with anyone, just to have a conversation, feel good, exchange.
Just to get rid of the silence.
Right. And yeah, silence in German U-Bahn and German bus systems, there's a lot of silence in there. Just people sitting there not saying a word.
Germans love beer and sausage.
Drinking out of huge steins, out of these ones.
It's very true. I mean, German beer is excellent, but the sausage stereotype, again, that's a regional stereotype,
right.
And it's excellent sausage. Someone says it's a true stereotype.
Right.
But it's the love of sausage is overblown.
That it is. The love of beer is not overblown, I think. So, where in the south of Germany, you will see a lot of people drinking out of these kind of things, these huge mugs. Whereas in northern Germany, you won't find that very often. And I think people in the south drink more beer than they might do in northern Germany. But yeah, there's a lot of people. Germans drink a lot of beer. There's a whole bunch of different breweries, and the sausage thing. I mean, if you go to Franken, for instance, like northern Bavaria, they have a bunch of different sausages. So I guess that's regionally true, yes. And then you have the currywurst, of course, which is...
Oh, thing about curry, the dirtier the curry shop, it's like home barbecue, the better.
Also, sauerkraut, that is also very regional. I probably have eaten more sauerkraut in the United States than I have in Germany. And in certain parts of, again, southern Germany, they will eat more sauerkraut than they might do in northern Germany. So that's also a regional stereotype. And
yeah, it is. One thing that I feel bad for the Germans is y'all really need like the asparagus season stereotype because it's awesome.
Sparger time is still Jim's favorite time of the year.
I know, I love it. And I'd never heard of it before I went to Germany. I never hear much about it outside of Germany. So maybe we can start that stereotype now.
Also Germans eat asparagus all the time. Eat asparagus.
Germans are very organized, punctual, and direct.
Okay, you got 15 seconds to finish this one. No, actually, it is true. I remember being in Italy actually and waiting in the line for the grocery store, and they're not efficient in the grocery store. The cashier was not efficient, and I could feel how like my inner kind of thing was just like, come on, people, come on,
getting upset.
Exactly.
No, it's very true. I mean, there's a thing that we were looking up a couple of months ago where Germans work less hours than a lot of other Europeans. However, their output is way more efficient. So, I mean, Germans are very efficient. It's a very true stereotype.
They follow rules also. If you're standing at a red light, like as a pedestrian in German, and you cross it while it's red, people might shout at you or they'll give you the evil eye. So Germans will not, they have a hard time, I guess, breaking rules.
Oh, the best example of that is going to a movie in Germany where you have assigned seating. So let's say you're just seeing like a flop, like Grown Ups 2, and no one's in the theater. If you go with a German, you get your little seat. Wide open theater, they're going to look at you if you get up and find another seat.
Right. Actually, there's a short story. I went to... so you will have like the lower sections in a movie theater will be the cheaper places, and the upper places will be more expensive. So a friend of mine and I went, and we got the cheap tickets. But, the movie theater was completely empty. So I was like, come on, let's go up and go to the more expensive tickets. even though we bought the cheaper tickets. And she felt so uncomfortable. She's like, no, let's not do that. And I convinced her, so we sat up there. But she got really nervous, so we had to go back down to the cheaper tickets because she just was not the rule. We bought the cheap tickets. We have to sit in the cheapest spots. So
don't break the rules.
Don't you break the rules. Germans love and admire David Hasselhoff.
The HOFF.
The HOFF. We've played with that stereotype a couple of times. And the thing is, I always come across it again and again when I'm in the United States. I'm being asked, why do Germans love David Hasselhoff? I'm not sure if they love him.
It's true love.
German stereotypes. We probably left out a couple. And I'm sure there's some people who won't agree with the stereotypes that we talked about. So leave them in the comment section downstairs.
And make sure they're in order.
There you go.
I'll take it easy.
Cheers.
Back it up.